Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. It's half time against Celtic against Dundee. 2-0 up, Sean. It was a fairly tidy, if unspectacular, first half, but good way to finish it there with a goal from Adam Ida following up on the earlier penalty. What's been your impressions of the game so far?
Yeah, I mean, I said pre-match I was expecting Dundee to come psychologically damaged and really fall apart, but that's not been the case. They've come here to play. They've played a good game. Fair enough. They've not drawn. They've only drawn one save out of Schmeichel, but they've been dangerous and they've been up for the fight. So we've had to play well, and we have played well. We've played good football. We've had good fight about us. The main frustration from a Celtic perspective is Maeda's not really getting any change out of Ingram down that side. And I don't think it's Maeda's playing bad. I think he's up against a good defender. And if the wingers were to swap sides, we'd probably see success from Maeda on the left and Jota struggling on the right. But Jota's linked up well with Hatate, and he's looked really good cycling possession. And that's the second goal is... again, Jota's very key to that as well. Like Ida does well to create the chance, and it doesn't. I think the keeper's actually caught by surprise that Ida takes the shot from that angle, and then Jota does a great job following up to draw the second save, and it's actually a fantastic finish from Adam Ida on the third one. That is a striker that is confident and on form. Like he's come to you, no touch, roof of the net. It's a really good finish. As for the penalty, I actually think it's correct, and I think part of the reason why it's given is like 2 minutes before Silla has done an even worse foul on Trusty, and I think the reason that one's not given is because the kind of etiquette at the moment is if there's no chance of the player getting the ball, then officials tend to just ignore it. So I think obviously on the second one, Trusty has actually got the ball, but he's practically on his knees because Silla's on the deck pulling him down. So I think there's almost a case of right. Well, he's done it twice now, and this one's one that we can award, sort of given a penalty for that. So it has been actually a surprisingly combative game. It has been a good game. We have played well, so I'm actually quite happy to be 2-0 up. I thought 1-0 would have been a fairer reflection, and 2-0 might be a bit harsh in Dundee, who have come to play, but it's good.
Yeah, it is. I agree with you. I think Dundee's been very, very disciplined in the game defensively. Like you, I thought when the penalty went in, I thought we could start to see them crumble. And I think to an extent we've dominated the game from more or less start to finish. I mean, lots and lots of possession. I think lots of opportunities coming down that left hand side where Jota's starting to influence the game. Again, I think you can still see elements of a little bit of ring rust on Jota. Not everything's quite coming off. On occasions, it's maybe his teammates are not quite reading him, and vice versa. But you're thinking, when he gets up to speed, he is going to play a massive part in any future success this season and beyond. Maeda, I would agree. I think he looks as though he's not. I mean, okay, he's playing on the right tonight. I don't think he's getting quite as much purchase. Not able to use those normal, weapons and assets that he's got in terms of his pace, his physicality. What I have noticed is AJ is getting up there and spreading the play quite well and putting in some good passes. That pass for Ida earlier on in the first half, just a defence splitting pass, an old-fashioned defence splitting pass, was excellent. And just unfortunately, when Ida plays it across goal, I don't think either of our forward-going players were in a position to get onto. I think Hatate and Jota were trying to bust a gut to try and get close, but couldn't quite manage it. But it's been a tidy performance. Do you think we've been a little bit too intricate in and around the box though at times? It's been a couple of occasions we're looking for the perfect pass rather than maybe just going for the old-fashioned shot.
I do think, especially the one where Hatate, it comes to him and he's right on the edge of the box, maybe 17 yards out, and he thinks he's got enough time to shift it onto his right, but he learned that is not the case, and he was closed down when he did do that. But yeah, it's interesting because that's kind of what it's like, right? When you talk about teams getting up to speed and getting to know each other, the example you're giving of Ida there is when he flashes that across, he's probably thinking Maeda's there. He's probably used to having Maeda running in that left, and Jota's not as fast as Maeda. He was getting in there, but he's not that fast, and he's certainly not up to match fitness to be sprinting in there at that point. And the correct decision at that point would have been to roll it for Hatate, but I I get what you're saying, but then also Dundee are right on it, like it is crowded in there. Dundee are like putting in a lot of tackles. I've actually really enjoyed Celtic's press to win the ball back as well. Like there was one point where Dundee were breaking down the left and there was 4 Celtic players on the press. And I actually think Kalmak has had a great game as well. Like he's been defensively excellent. There's a point where Hatate gets caught in possession and it's 2-on-2. Dundee are about to get a chance and Kalmak covers it really well and puts it out for a corner. And he's also been driving forward too as well. I think there's one where he goes past Adewumi, who, like, I guess he's not a defender, but still he should have pace on Kalmak, and that's where the Hatate chance comes from. So I thought our 2 best players in the first half have been Engels, who I worry that it's probably one of those things where if you remember that run of man in a match performances that Engels got in home games, I think he's actually playing better tonight than in most of those games, but it becomes one of those Larson effects where you're starting to expect it from them and you're waiting for them. You need them to do a bit more to give them the man of the match. But I think Engels has been probably our best player, and then Kalmak just behind him.
I would tend to agree. And there are 2 players that have been under a bit of scrutiny at different times this season. I would agree with you on Kalmak, and it's very noticeable in the moment where Hatate's caught, goes to ground. Did you feel that was a foul when Hatate lost possession? Actually,
I didn't know.
No,
so I thought he just caught.
Needs to be stronger. Yeah, but I think Kalmak going back, doing that defensive performance, I thought it was great. Engels, I think, is having quite a big influence on the game, but it's kind of simple, not spectacular, which I think is actually pretty good tonight. It's just about keeping possession, staying disciplined, staying patient. I think. Let's bring in some of your comments. Just see how people think. Barry O'Sullivan comes in first. How good has Jota been, even in the first 20 minutes? Got to be excited about the level he can reach in the next 5.5 years. A true Celtic number 7. Hail, hail. Well, it is obviously early days, but yeah, I would echo that, and certainly I hope. Bruce FM, Bruce123 comes in. Jota has been fantastic. Yeah, those wee flicks, wait until he's fully fit. Yeah, as I said, not everything coming off tonight maybe the way he wants, but he's got to build up that understanding with his teammates again as well. Brendan McCarthy, the pressing is fantastic tonight, echoing your point there, Sean. Barry O'Sullivan talking about the Ida goal was a striker's finish. As he was back, he was down and he got up on his feet very, very quickly to get that rebound. It was excellent. Put it high and into the net. Not an easy one to take. Jungle Lion comes in to talk about the maybe some of the touches around the box, trying to walk it in at times. I think that example with Hatate. And again, something you mentioned before we went live, Sean, that was a ridiculous VAR review. I think you echoed that. I mean, what was the thought process behind that? It seemed very unnecessary.
I truly don't know. Like, I really don't understand. It felt like maybe they didn't understand the rules and they were trying to see like where Ingram was, because there's 2 players on the line, so I don't know what they're even looking for there. Because offside is 2 players. It doesn't matter which 2 players. So if it was 2 defenders and the goalkeeper's up there under the pitch, it would still be onside. I don't know, man. I don't know what they were waiting for there, what they were trying to do.
Absolutely.
Just a delay for the sake of a delay, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And Adventures of Milo, thank you very much indeed for supporting the channel. If this is Jota not fully fit, then I can't wait until he's fully match fit. Ecstatic he's back and he'll thrive under Rodgers. Yep, that's absolutely the hope. In terms of the overall performances, individual performance, I think, we're not under too much pressure defensively. Was one occasion I noticed, and this is something myself and Paul John have picked up on, Trusty, he does seem to struggle a little bit with the balls that just can hang in the air above him a little bit, doesn't he? There's a couple of occasions there where he seemed to get just caught being a little bit indecisive as to how to deal with it. That said, he did recover quite well and managed to get it back to Schmeichel, but that seems to be something that's affecting him on quite a few games this season. Just something for us to watch out for.
I mean, he had a stinker at Dens Park, so I think maybe that's in his mind a little bit. So he is, putting in a good shift tonight. He's certainly not suffering the same problems that he did in that game.
No.
The problem is, though, that when he's trying to overcompensate in a sense, and that's how he picks up that yellow card.
Yes.
They're both, it is, from the perspective of the linesman, it is a yellow card because he's pulled Adewumi's gone down. But what the linesman can't see is Adewumi's got a hold of Trusty's jersey on the other side. Yep. So normally you don't even give those a free kick when both players are at it. But that's I mean, I guess Adewumi was quite clever there in that sense.
Perspective problem, yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of puts Trusty on a knife edge, same as Silla for Dundee. So yeah, like I think he's done well. My main concern is Dundee are trying to. I don't know that they're trying to be very clever with how they score their goals. They're trying to break quickly, which Celtic are alive to. But the other thing that they're trying to do is when they have a corner, I've never seen so many players in a 6-yard box. And even if there's not a single push, pull, anything, just having that many bodies in there just absolutely takes the goalkeeper out of the equation, and it just becomes chaos ball if it lands in there in that 6-yard box. So they are trying to do that. And one thing I noticed as well earlier on, I didn't even notice it until the replay, but like the 9th minute when they put that long throw into the box and it becomes a bit of a pinball, I only seen one replay, but to me it looked like the boy taking the throw in had 2 feet on the pitch, which I'll be wondering if VAR would check for that one if it ends up in the net, because it's not something they normally look for in a replay. Is the throw in behind the line, so it'd be interesting.
That would be interesting. Yeah, I don't think there's a precedent set for that one, so that could have been a first. They are utilising that long throw. It was even mentioned on commentary that they are trying to use the long throws almost as effectively as corners, and they're quite a big bunch. I watched them in the box; they were kind of gathered there. I was a little bit worried by Engels at one point. He was kind of putting the arms up, and it was almost a bit of a wrestling match going on at one stage. I thought, don't give the referees an excuse. We need to maintain our discipline here. Yeah. Good stuff. In terms of the second half, more of the same for you? Do you think we'll see maybe the intensity drop a little bit? Would you expect some changes, given that we're 2-0 up now? Normally, we're about the 1 goal up at half time, and things can get a wee bit, still a wee bit tentative about making changes. But we've got that 2-goal cushion. Would you look to change it fairly early on?
I wouldn't, and history would tell me that Rodgers doesn't do that either. He's more of a
60 minutes.
It's not even that. It's more, I mean, maybe to freshen up at 60, but it's also he's more of a third goal person. Like if we're 3-0 up, maybe, and if we do get a third in the first 15 minutes, then that's probably going to signal some changes at that point. We could see Johnny Kenny getting a run, give Adam Ida a break. I don't know if Kuhn will come on. Probably be Yang. I think he'd probably rest Kuhn if he can. So yeah, I think if we can get a third, we'll see some changes and maybe a drop in intensity, but hopefully not too much of a drop, and hopefully we do come out firing at the start of second half, which is something we do normally do typically come out. Not to say we always get a goal early on, but we do normally create chances pretty early in the second half.
Absolutely. Just want to touch before we finish on Adam Ida. Obviously now established as the first choice striker. I think he's done well tonight. He's led the line quite well. Some good runs, getting into good positions, using his strength, and that's I think that's 4 goals in 3 games. His last 3 games now. So it's going some way to saying this is my jersey. It's someone else's job to try and come and take it off him. But that's it's what you want going into the European games. Striker in particular playing as consistently as he is at the moment. Yeah,
since Kyogo's left, he's really picked up the baton and done well. And I mean, I guess the concern is the loading issue, in the sense that who's going to take over, who's going to pick up the load when he needs a rest. I think he pretty much limped off at the weekend, just from putting a shift in, not from being injured. So I do wonder. It's not normal for a striker to play 90 minutes for Celtic these days. It happens every now and again, and it's not really sustainable. So I do hope we get that third goal cushion and we can give him a spell and get Johnny Kenny on it. I mean, apart from the fact I'd like to see Johnny Kenny a bit more, we do need to take care of him now. He is our main striker, our main asset, and we need to be careful of that and protect that fitness now that he's got the form to match it.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think given the fact he's not necessarily been getting regular minutes, you don't want to overstretch him and possibly see a hamstring tweak or anything like that. So yeah, I'd agree. I think preserving the players, but I think a third goal cushion would certainly make that decision easier. No sign of Schlipp just yet, but I think it'd be nice to potentially see what he can bring to the table again. I think maybe the third goal cushion is would allow for that. Given that we're just about for the second half now, just about the second half to kick off. Sean, any change to your prediction, or are you sticking with your 4-0?
I'll stick with 4-0.
Stick with 4-0. I'd take that. I'll probably stick with my 5-0 at the moment. I think we could get a few goals. I'm still counting on that another another Jota goal. Just to keep his momentum
that'd be nice.
going. Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you very much for joining us. Again, that's over 1,200 on the live stream for halftime. Join us again at full time, where hopefully either my prediction or Sean's prediction will come true, but ultimately, hopefully, it's a Celtic win. Thanks very much for joining us. One hoops.